In the space of a moment, your life can change. Just like that. Would you all agree?
Yes.
Absolutely. And that is food for thought. But it's also food for music in my story. Or flipping on the side, music food. Picture the scene. It's a council estate in Newbridge on a grey October cold night, where the only sound is the hum of the magnolia stove that's in the kitchen, or you can hear the howling dogs outside. And we're up in bed, myself, my brother and our sister, with our feet wrapped around a building block that my dad got off a building site with a towel wrapped around it to keep our feet warm. And then suddenly there's a bit of a commotion downstairs, and it's Dad coming in from the pub after having a couple of pints after working hard all week. And we don't know what's going on upstairs. But little did I know that the very next day my life was going to actually change forever. Would you like to hear how? Next morning. Morning, son. Do you like music? I do, Dad. What a very profound question to ask me this hour of the morning. Well, would you believe I'm after finding out that if you can play a bit of music, you will never ever starve. Now to me that was like music to my ears, because up to that we were always on a kind of a diet of yellow pack food. I don't know if any of you remember that. It was great, did the job, but it was slightly bland. I said, that's great, Dad. So before you could say boo to a ghost, we were brought down to a local marching band and we were given music lessons at the cost of 50 pence every week for lessons. Now that was affordable for us and we were all delighted with that. And for Dad, the idea of playing music and making money was amazing, because he told us that when he was down in the pub there was guys playing in the corner who were making half his amount of wages in one night that he had to work hard for a week, and they were also getting free beer. It was a no-brainer. So we started with the first instrument, which was the recorder, and we spent 3 years on the recorder. Now I know what their plan was. They were basically saying who they could filter out and who they could keep in. So if you stuck with it, you stuck with it. And we practiced and practiced, and all we did for 3 years was this. Good man, you're a great player. Ah, thanks very much. Keep practicing, man. That's what we did for 3 years. And it was great. We were happy, they were happy, Dad was happy because the price stayed at 50 pence for 3 years too. But eventually then, the big day came. We were all brought into a room, we were told, boys and girls, you're going to get real musical instruments today. No offence to the recorder. So, it was like a scene from Auschwitz. We were all lined up, and basically we were beckoned up to the top, and you did a musical instructor did a physical examination of you. Now they're not doctors, but it was very simple. It was basically like this. Show me your hand. Flute. There you go. And the next fellow. Can you go like this? Yeah. Trumpet. Over there you go. Show me the length of your arm. Trombone. Off you go. That was it. And that was how it was done. It's as simple as that. And the instrument which I ended up was this beautiful instrument here. I don't know if any of you don't know what the name of it. Clarinet. Well, in the band world we have a slang term. It's called a licorice stick. And that's the slang name for a licorice stick. So the instrument I got was a clarinet, and it was a great instrument, and I loved it. In fact, I'll even admit it now, I won't tell my wife, and please keep it secret, but I even slept with this instrument. I loved it that much. And we didn't make music. But it was great, and again I practiced and practiced, and it got me, I played my way through secondary school. I eventually ended up being the first boy to study Leaving Cert music in the boys' secondary school in Newbridge, and it was great, and it was all because of this instrument. And then I got to a stage where I was told, Vinny, how would you feel about studying music in college or university? Now that was a big shock to me, because that was uncharted territory in my family. No one in my dad's family had ever gone to college or university before, so I didn't have an iota what this was about. And thanks to a great music teacher, they set me on the way. So, next thing I found myself on a bus, because Dad hadn't got a car. We were on a bus on the way up to Trinity College, because I managed to get an interview for Trinity College. And this little boy, this boy from a council estate in Newbridge, suddenly found himself in front of a panel of people who had more letters then a double set of cubes of alphabet letters in Smith's Toy Store after their name. And it was me, and they said, go ahead and play. And I played the second movement from Mozart's Clarinet Concerto. And they said, we like how you play. And they said, okay, Vincent, if you can get 3 C's in your Leaving Cert, we'll give you a place on our bachelor's degree in music education in Trinity College. I didn't even know what a bachelor's degree meant, to be honest with you, but I was delighted. So I went home, studied hard, and the day came where I had to collect my results. Now, as you can imagine, this was a big day. Dad wasn't able for it, so he didn't come. Mum came with me. We ended up on the path leading up to the monastery in Newbridge. Mum couldn't walk up the path. It was like a scene from The Wizard of Oz, to be honest with you. I was on the yellow brick road, and I was going up to get my Great Award prize in the Great Oz, which was actually Brother Bosco. But, so I went up the path. Mum had to stay at the gate. Went up, and I got my results. And when I opened it, I had a wide, big grin, because I had done it. I had made it. And it was absolutely fantastic. So my mum decided, as a special treat, she got me one of the most expensive ice creams you could get in Newbridge at the time. It was a 99 cone. They were dear. That was big money, with all the trimmings as well. Syrup, chocolate stuff. And we sat down on the side of the road, and I can tell you, it was probably the sweetest musical food I ever had in my life. And would you like to hear why I don't starve anymore?
Go ahead.
Okay. You can clap along if you want to. Okay?
Vinny. What is it? Vincent or Vinny?
Vinny.
Vinny. Great speech. You've set the bar very high for yourself in quality, so that from here on in now, you're going to have to start trying to raise the bar a bit all the time. Because at the start of it, it said to begin speaking before an audience. I think you've done that beforehand. And you're like, absolutely, out here, didn't even use notes. That's you have what people wouldn't normally have in a nice breaker, so-called. You're very confident. Use of props. You had humour, and you even went one better than me, because when I did my icebreaker, I only showed people my bagpipes. I didn't play them. So, your speech was absolutely very well prepared. You could see it from your childhood, onto the youth, onto the teenage, and when you were leaving your secondary school. And it gave us the full story of what you were doing. Audibly, you were very clear. You could hear, I'm sitting down the back and I could hear you perfectly, so you had no problem with that. Your body language was perfect, and there and we could see you perfectly. You didn't use your notes, which is great for, you know, I have to commend you on that, for not using notes and standing out there for an icebreaker. Absolutely brilliant. Now, what would I say to you on improvement-wise? The only improvement that I would say to you was that the information you gave to us was an awful lot of information, if you get my drift. It wasn't that the information was poorly related to us, but just for an icebreaker, it was an awful lot of information to take in. So possibly in your next speech, to maybe have 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 points, that kind of way, and have a nice opening, good body, and a conclusion, but try to keep it more focused, and that's the only thing I can say to you. But well done, Vinny. Looking forward to the next speech.